SayItInACard.com is an online greeting card company that delivers right to your front door. Visit our website, www.sayItInACard.com. You can read the cards, order the cards, and we ship them directly to you. If you feel it, we say it in a card. We have breakup cards, troubled relationship cards, troubled friendship cards, and of course all of the traditional cards as well, from birthday to Mother's Day. So again, visit us at www.sayItInACard.com. Free shipping for a limited time. One of the best parts of life is when you can admit the truth to yourself about yourself. Cyberspace is a world where one can become something he isn't, but everything he dares to be. I wasn't interested in getting attached to anyone, and I knew I wouldn't take anyone I met online seriously. I had multiple screen names to increase my chances of meeting someone attractive. The majority of the profiles noted HIV negative under status, but I knew better from the work I had done in the HIV community. I knew 1 out of 3 black gay men was positive. The messages I found in my inbox validated me in my depression. In some strange way, they reinforced that I was worthy and deserving. My days consisted of waking up and logging on to see how many messages had accrued overnight. Months passed before I got honest with my therapist about what was happening with me. And before I knew it, I heard myself say, I've been having sex with people I meet online. To listen to more of Words Never Spoken in Memoir, visit audible.com. I was involved briefly with a married man who believed he had the courage to leave his wife to be with me and to live his truth. This isn't the typical story of a married man promising to leave his wife for a secret lover. Rather, this is a story in part about a gay man who knew he was gay before he got married, but chose to marry a woman because he didn't know how to break free. Rocky and I met on a gay social media site 3 months after I returned to the East Coast to live, and just 11 months after he was married. At the time we met, he was living and working in Dubai as a contractor for the government on a military base, while his wife was stationed in Tallahassee, Florida, where they had a home. In one of the first messages he sent me, Rocky shared that he was married, but that he had regrets. He explained that he had come out to his mother and siblings when he was 18 years old. He sat there. To listen to more of One Thing for Certain, Two Things for Sure, a memoir continued, visit audible.com. These girls from DC are here and they're stealing. They're trying to steal.
Bruce, are you wearing a tank top?
Yeah. Where Corey?
In the shower.
That's what it's at. Hey, Craig.
Hey, Calvin.
Craig, I don't feel good. Make me a drink.
Well, if you don't feel good, you probably shouldn't have a drink.
I still don't feel good like an acid reflux.
Yeah, you probably don't need a drink then.
It's fine.
Yes.
You going out tonight? Is that why you got your little tight jeans on?
I ain't gonna wear no.
Oh, you put your jeans on and rolled your cuffs up because I had mine rolled up
No,
yesterday?
I did not. I'm getting fat, Craig. Whew.
Yeah, you told me yesterday.
Oh my God, I forgot how to sit this thing. And
You don't know how to sit what?
how to maneuver it.
What?
This ass.
This ass.
Craig, get on that.
Calvin, sit over there.
Why?
Because I'm about to sit right here.
What do I drink?
What you want to drink?
What sherry?
Why is Sherry calling right there?
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. No, y'all been
No.
Leave that alone.
Let me call
No.
her.
She been acting up all day.
Tell her we're about to take a podcast.
Let me call her.
Go.
I want vodka and cranberry, vodka and something.
Who messed up my tongue?
Corey.
Holy snow.
Why do you think that she did?
You've been eating a lot since you've been here.
Hasn't he been eating a lot?
Really? I mean, a lot.
Look how late it is and he eating.
What time is it?
We going to the bar.
Oh, we going out?
You wearing
I
that?
just said you wasn't feeling well.
You wearing that top? That tank top?
I get ready to think that.
I might have a shirt for you.
Ooh.
I'm not going out.
Oh, you going out?
I just came over here with a bunch of sissies. I could have worn anything. How about that?
What you want to drink?
I want vodka cranberry, vodka whatever you got. That's what I
Cran
want.
mango or cran apple?
That's good. That's what I
Which
want.
one?
That's good right there.
No, this one is mine. This was not for you.
Oh, well, give me what you got.
I was in the process of making this for
what else?
myself.
What other chaser do you have?
I just said cran apple or cran mango. And then I have tonic.
Give me cran mango.
Corey!
You dressed?
He all over the house.
Now can I come in?
Right.
No.
Stop for you expose that lady's breasts. I said stop for you expose that lady's breasts. Cause you ain't hit all those S's on breasts.
Right.
Breasts.
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 Why I suppose what?
His breasts.
Shut my breath.
No, you got a bunch of ass.
I got titties. I do have a bunch of ass.
Oh, you like a lot of vodka though, don't you?
Mm-mm. Look at that crack like that.
Then what? You say you want crab mango?
Yeah. God, what you cooking?
I'm about to make me a little pasta.
Did you go to the cookout?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You been over there all day?
No, I didn't get there till about 5.
So you didn't come home last night?
Huh?
You came home last night?
Yeah.
Okay.
I sure did.
The drive wasn't bad last night. Like, I don't know.
No, it wasn't. It was nice and smooth and simple and
So
easy.
you brought 2 pair of glasses.
Corey, come on now. We about to start.
You switch
I'm
them.
Oprah.
You Oprah.
I can change my glasses.
No, you more like Sally Jesse Raphael. Sally Jesse. Is that too much vodka?
Good. So what are we talking about?
You being single and growing old as a hermit.
I'm not single anymore. Y'all talking about that shit.
Oh.
And I'm not old.
You are single. You just put that man out.
I am single and happy.
Single can be good to you,
It
baby.
can be.
No, single is.
If you work it right.
Yeah.
But you do every now and then you want that.
No,
Companionship.
Companionship.
You want that warm body sometimes.
Come on now, warm body. When you get you a puppy.
I'm not licking on my puppy.
Hey, you got me on. Are we gonna be on video?
We're not recording the video, is we?
Oh, cause I'm not on the right house.
You don't have on what?
The right house.
The podcast is not video.
Calvin, shut up. We don't really have to wait for Corey because he ain't gonna really contribute much to the conversation.
How you know? You think Corey's dumb?
I'm not saying he's dumb, but
He
he's
is
not.
lonely and old.
You shady.
Corey! I'm gonna connect with Corey.
You gonna what?
Connect with Corey. We're gonna boo up. I'm gonna boo up with Corey. Where my keys?
You think Corey likes you?
No, boy, don't like his ass.
No,
Not
no.
like that.
Well, what y'all gonna do?
I'm about to punch both of y'all in the face.
What are
Yeah,
you?
move that drugs and stuff off the table.
This is your drugs that Marvin brought for you.
Yeah, one was a pusher.
Why y'all putting that shit online?
Marvin, sit down. We trying to have a conversation. We ain't waiting for Corey. We just gonna have him add a little bit at the end.
I gotta replenish my drink.
Are we on video for real?
You see the camera?
Are we on video now?
Yes.
They can see us?
Not by that.
No, they can't see us.
Oh.
Not by that part, Craig. Don't have it on camera.
Oh, people think I'm a Christian.
People think you're
They
a
don't
Christian.
think that. Oh, Craig, you freeze these?
Freeze what?
What?
Yes. So they don't go
I
bad.
wish I know that you could do
Yeah,
that.
as soon as I buy them, I clean them and then I freeze
And
them.
freeze them.
Yes. I do all my
I
strawberries
had to
like
do
that.
something about this much away the other
Yeah,
day.
I ain't got no money to be throwing
And
away.
blueberries are not cheap.
Blueberries go quickly too. They'll go bad
I
quickly.
wash them, and then
What? It's like I got a little hump.
you do, Kyle.
Say it again,
If
Mark.
that's what you want us to
Say it
tell
more.
you. You do.
Right.
You got a little butt.
That looks like fat.
Then what's that? That's
At the bottom of your back.
What's that? Yeah.
Looks like fat to me.
It's a fat butt.
Studio stuff?
You got on underwear? You know?
I got on underwear.
Oh.
Craig said,
What is that?
check these.
What'd you
I have to
say?
support this thing.
You gotta support what?
This.
You got a lot of dick, Calvin.
I always had that. I'm just getting this. This always been here.
Marvin, can you sit down?
I know.
I'm trying to figure out why he doing all this marching around the house.
What's that thing for?
And how about you get the pot?
Let me get my pasta.
This is very personal work for me.
Politics.
I believe I was called to
Sex.
tell my story, use my voice, be a voice for the community, to speak to and for a community of people that's been ignored, denied,
Love,
overlooked.
relationships, religion,
This is my life's work.
religion.
I want to use words to uplift,
Every
heal,
single
inspire, encourage.
Do something different. Every Monday at 10.
Good day, thinkers, thought leaders, progressives, and dreamers. I'm Craig the Writer Stewart, and this is So Much to Say. These are my thoughts and my voice on black shit, white shit, gay shit, and everything in between. I am sitting here with three of my friends. Two are here from DC, and one is here in Atlanta with me. And we represent two different generations. I'm 43. Corey, you're 40. 45. Marvin.
54.
And Calvin, you're 52.
Yes.
So I wanted to have this conversation. About growing old alone. If there's a fear of growing old alone, Marvin gonna sit there like he didn't hear me, like he didn't. He's the oldest one here.
54.
Right. Marvin is the eldest of the people at the table. But I'll be first to say that he looks younger than Corey. But what I wanted to say.
Absolutely. No, you don't.
He looks younger than Corey. But
Wow.
I'm just playing. But no, I wanted to have a serious conversation about growing old alone. If there's a fear of growing old alone or not. So first, I want to start with going around and asking, when was your last relationship? So my last relationship ended in 2011. So that was 8 years ago.
Oh, mine was about 4 years ago.
Okay. Corey, it's your turn.
I'm trying to think. Was it 4 or 5 years ago with Denzel? 4 or 5?
5 years.
5 years.
5 years? Okay.
It's been about 6 years for me.
So it's between 4 and 8. I'm sorry, they didn't hear
I've
you.
had some pieces in between.
What's a piece?
Sometimes long term,
Right.
6 months. Or,
Oh, okay. So you had some 6 months, 6 month opportunities.
I didn't call them relationships.
So, what do you think it is? Are you single now by choice? Are you decidedly single? Or are you interested in being in a relationship, but you just haven't found that person to mesh with? Or is it a combination of both?
It's a combination of both, but there's so many variables in finding a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
There's the social media, there's sex sites, and it's just fearful. You know, you meet people who are just looking for sex, and it's so readily available. But yeah, I want to be in a relationship, but I think I'm a little afraid of that. You know, trusting somebody, because sex is so available, and boys aren't interested in relationships anymore. They're just looking for a quick sex.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what is it that? Go ahead. What were you?
No, I was going to agree with him. I'm like, I had my two longest relationships was 6 years and 4.5 years.
Okay.
Those are my two longest relationships, and I'm like Calvin. Right now, it seems like with this social media age, it's like they just want a quick nut and go, or how many they can get and go. And I'm not about that. I mean,
Okay.
It's not what I want, but I am a little guilty of it also. I am on social media.
well, I can say I'm not.
Yeah.
I think most of us are on social media, but I also think that it's a combination. The fear is there, and then also it's there's a night when you want a warm body, a familiar warm body, not somebody you just met 20 minutes ago
Right.
off the internet. And so, but at some point, as you start to age, as I am 54 years old, you start to age, you want that significant other. You do.
So when you say we're all on social media, break it down.
Most of us. I didn't say all of us.
Right. So do you mean, because Calvin, you said we're on social media or I'm on social media, do you mean Facebook, Instagram, or do you mean...
No, I mean
The
Like some of
sex
the
sites. Some people call it dating sites, but I call it a sex site. Now, there's sometimes I get on.
Facebook has
Yes,
has broken up
absolutely.
marriages nowadays.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But there are nights I get on, and I'm strictly looking for sex because that's my expectation of that site. You know, I don't want to meet somebody and be in a relationship with them from that site. Yeah, so
And, and it's interesting that you say that because I haven't been on those apps in a minute. It's been some time that I've actually met
I
somebody.
saw you
on
last
that.
night.
No, you didn't see me. Now, Calvin, you may have seen someone using my picture.
Oh, wait.
Absolutely.
You was catfish.
Right.
You was catfish.
Right. But when I was on those apps, I never would take it seriously in the sense of meeting somebody viable. But I do believe that if we did not reduce those apps to just sex, it really could be a viable way of meeting and partnering and networking, like in business.
Yes, absolutely.
But we've reduced them. We've done that. We've reduced them to just sex.
And I have met guys on those sites that are decent brothers.
I have.
I don't think they're all out there. Some of them do want to have a little date and get to know you a little bit more and just coming over and doing what they do and just hit it. But I have met some nice guys.
And what somebody said to me years ago, it was like, but Craig, the same guys that you're meeting on Adam for Adam or Men for Now or Jack nowadays, they're the same guys that you're going to see in Publix, at the grocery store.
Yeah.
But what I've said to that is, they are the same guy, but the approach is different.
It's different.
When
And
people
I think
approach
that's
you,
my issue.
go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that I think because I don't have a Jack, I don't have I don't have none of those sites. I mean, I have Instagram, I have Facebook. I hardly be on Facebook, but I mean, I've scrolled through Instagram and stuff. But I think, like you said, the approach is different because it's like, Corey, if you meet somebody out in the street or whatever, you may not. It could be the same person that's on that site or whatever, but I'm like, but it's like,
But the approach is
yeah,
different.
because it's like if you sit in a bar and instantly you just see everybody they like this, they're scrolling like, okay, he's 5 feet away, that's him, then you going, you want to send a message instead of walking over and say, hey, how you doing?
But also when I said the approach is different, I mean, like you were saying a moment ago, Calvin, there are times that you go on the app for sex.
Sure.
And so if that's what the intention is for the majority going on their app, and then you're in the minority and you're in there looking for a relationship, then those waves are going to cross.
Right, but I'm not even going on there looking for
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but
Yeah. But then there are guys on there that are want to be sponsored, and if you are of a certain age, they look at you for payment or sponsorship. I'm not into that. No.
that is
You're
true.
not paying yourself for it.
Right,
No.
I'm not paying your cell phone bill. I'm not paying your tuition.
Right.
Even though I did one time, but I'm going. That's a different story.
You may have to bring him back.
Right. I may have to bring him back for a one-on-one.
That's
a different conversation.
But it wasn't a date. It was a friend. But it was.
You don't have to qualify for us, Corey.
No, it was a friend. It was a friend who was interested in me, but he was young, and I knew I was not getting a relationship with him. Yeah,
Marvin, pass him a paper towel. He's sweating on his brow.
You know what?
His brow is sweaty. Or is it the alcohol?
No, I just got off this hot ass shower.
And then there's the fear of living alone and having a medical emergency, and then you're home alone, and then something happens, and your family finds you
2 or 3 days later.
And that's one of my biggest fears.
Yeah.
Having one of my sisters, not God forbid my mom,
Yeah.
one of my sisters to come and say, "Oh, do a welfare check,"
Yes.
Yeah.
because you don't have a partner
Right.
to look. It's checking on you every day.
Right.
That's one of the biggest fears. But I still think that what goes back to what Calvin said. It's just sometimes you out here because the guys they're not looking for.
Absolutely.
But my question is, how do we shift that? Because what I hear is not just in this conversation. I've had this conversation so many times with a lot of friends, like you, Marvin and I. We've had this conversation. I've had these conversations with countless people, and if we're all saying we want the same things,
Right.
and we're looking for the same things, why is it that we're not connecting? Why is it that we're not finding each other?
There are guys that really want to be in a relationship, and when you meet them, they come across so desperate and immediate, and this is what I've been looking for. They want you to make this commitment right away. That don't want to date.
It's like they don't take the
Let's gradually go into it.
they don't take the time to actually date you.
Right.
Yeah.
To get to know each other. It's like,
Get mad if you don't return the call immediately.
you went, you had a movie, a date, you kissed, you sucked, whatever, and it's like,
Oh, Corey.
I'm just saying.
Corey, you.
I'm just saying.
Wait a minute.
Next you know, they say, oh, you my
You need to
boyfriend.
get on one of them sites.
Right. Look, you're not on one, but it sounds like you need to get on one.
Yes.
He went from dating and
I
sucking
mean,
dick.
all that happened in the same night. I mean, stuff like that happened in the same night. You know, you go to a movie and then
Well, it sounds like he doesn't need to be on one
You
of
don't
those
even know,
apps.
maybe not.
I'm not saying that happened to me. That has not happened to me.
Corey, you don't have to. We're grown.
Right, we grown.
I haven't. Look here.
We're not gonna turn
Look
our
here.
nose up.
Right.
Look here. I have no problem telling y'all I did that.
Well, we know you did.
Wait a minute.
But my
Wait a
thing
minute.
is,
Wait a minute.
I
I
just-
did not do that on a date. I did that with my lover. Thank you very much. We had a good night, date night, suck night, whatever, and all that stuff. Good. Yeah. All that.
Well, we're not talking about with your quote unquote lover, as you said. We talk about.
It wasn't with his lover.
It wasn't. Right. He trying to qualify. He's trying to qualify now.
No. I have no problem. I mean, if I did that, but no.
But do you think that perhaps our approach? Because for me, like I said, I've been single now for 8 years. And I haven't always been the person that I am now. Like I like to say I'm a quality person, I'm relationship oriented, I'm relationship driven, but I have not always been this person because I haven't always possessed emotional intelligence, emotional maturity. And so now that seems to be my frustration as I'm out in here in this dating world. I tend to run into guys that don't have the emotional intelligence to say, I really like you, or I'm falling in love with you, or I'm afraid, or I was wrong. You know, like I just haven't, I've been having issues connecting with that kind of guy. The other thing, I was saying this to Marvin earlier, one of the other issues that I run into, it almost seems like when you are a person that brings a lot to the table, you're almost like kryptonite.
Yeah, the intimidation.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
absolutely.
and it's like the higher you climb in terms of education, the more well-traveled you become, the more cultured you are, the more money you make, or whatever it is. It's almost like you become kryptonite to these guys.
And
You're
Makes it much
untouchable.
harder to find.
It does. It's
And-
like they become more insecure around you.
And I could see that because one of my girlfriends, April, she has another gay friend that she knows, and from I guess her showing pictures of me, he's like, oh, I think he's cute. Introduced me with whatever. But then as she kept showing him, and he was like, so that, oh yeah, I went to Paris, or I went to Brazil, or went to, oh, he's bougie. And she's like, Corey's not bougie. I'm like, hey, I'm not bougie. I'm not bougie.
That's not a fair statement.
Wait, I'm not bougie.
Help us, Marvin. Help us.
Wait a minute, I am not bougie.
Help us, Marvin.
Of course, bougie.
Corey is bougie.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I am not. How am I
He's
bougie?
Trinidadian.
I am
Take it
not
from
bougie.
there.
It's okay to be bougie.
I am not bougie.
At this age, Corey, we
It's okay to be who you are.
But I'm not
You
bougie.
really are.
are.
Bougie does not have to mean you wear designer jeans and bags and clothes and houses. Bougie is just your persona sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's what, and
Okay,
you
hold
can
on.
come off
Just stay
as
alive.
Please explain to me
people
how.
innocent people have walked up to Corey and said to him, I think you're a little bougie.
A little
I'm
lofty.
bougie. Well, please explain to me how I'm bougie. Please.
You
Oh,
really are.
how am I bougie?
But not traveling, you're supposed to see the world.
Yeah.
Your thing, Demon.
No, that's
No,
fine.
that's all.
Cut out.
How am I bougie?
Well, it's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad
It's
thing.
not a bad thing.
Because
It's
we
a
all
thing.
have probably a little bouginess,
Uh-huh.
even though we
Right.
come from DC, Baltimore,
Right,
wherever the hell,
right.
South
South Carolina.
Carolina.
Right.
Yes.
But once it's this level of how you carry yourself, it's just a level of whatever. But don't get caught up in it. You know, it's
Right.
not like
Because I mean, I don't.
because we jump in anywhere.
Right.
Yeah, because I.
We can fit
well,
in
for me,
anywhere.
well,
We fit in
okay. Well,
anywhere.
for me, actually, when I say I don't think I'm like I'm that guy. I'm the ride or die.
You're touchable. No, I don't mean. I don't mean.
he is sucking and stuff.
He is sucking and fucking in the movie theater. No, I didn't mean like that. I just mean. You know what I mean. I just meant.
I said he's sucking and stuff.
I just meant that you're not untouchable. Like you're not like, oh, who are these people? You're not like that. But I just feel like, people often say, especially on social media, you see these hashtags, power couple, and, relationship goals. And people say they want to be a part of a power couple. But I feel like when people always say they want greatness, but then when something great or greater shows up, your insecurities can't handle
But
it.
see, that's the thing. Although I want to be in a relationship, I do know there's some work I need to do on me.
Yes,
To prepare
right.
myself for a relationship. And in doing so, I've attached myself to people. Well, I've allowed people to come into my life that should not have been in my life.
And I agree with that because to that point, I think that I really do believe that we date at the level of our self-esteem.
Yes.
Or where we are in our
Absolutely.
life at that
Absolutely.
time. So what are some of the things that you think you need to work on? Because see, to my point, like I said, I don't feel like I've always been the person that I am today. I had some shit with me.
No, we all have to grow.
Absolutely.
If you're not constantly growing, there's an issue there.
Absolutely.
As adults, we still don't know everything.
Right.
Right.
You are supposed to work on who you are. But I think
Yes.
what I feel like with guys, once we get into the nuts and bolts of the relationship, people get nervous.
Yeah.
Because we can still be, the sex and falling all over the walls in the bedroom, but when the light bill falls through the door, or just some day to day,
Right.
I got to tell you about this thing that happened today that
And here
now everybody's nervous.
let me contain it for you. What I hear you saying, beloved, because I'm gay, I'm gay out with that. What I hear you saying, beloved, is I don't want to have to do all of the heavy emotional lifting by myself.
Because if you got a partner,
Absolutely.
That's what
And
a
see,
partner's
sometimes
for.
it's just too heavy. And see, my thing is at 43, I have grown man issues.
Exactly.
and that's what I was talking to you about weeks ago, Craig, about
Yes.
grown man conversation.
Yes.
We have to be we have adult 100% adult conversations.
yeah.
People say, "Oh, I'm 100." You sure?
Right.
Let me give you some 100 conversations.
Right.
And then next thing you know, they're running off.
Right.
Out the door.
Because now it's too heavy.
Now it's too heavy.
You're too heavy for them.
You said you was 100.
Right. Because see, I believe that partnering is really about being a mirror for your partner.
Exactly.
And it's about accountability. And so I should be, as your partner, be able to say in a loving, tactful way, one-on-one, not in front of friends where you're embarrassed. I should be able to say,
Never do it in front of friends.
exactly.
Never,
I should be
yeah.
able to say to you one-on-one because you trust me. Because I believe there are degrees of trust. It's not just about trusting that you won't sleep around on me,
No.
but it's about trusting me emotionally, and they're varying
me with
degrees.
That
of
is
trust.
one of my
Trust me with this.
And that's
Right.
like you just asked Calvin, what do you think that some of his fears?
Yeah.
That's my fear. Trust.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't care about you sleeping with nobody because I can't control that.
Right.
But our bedroom talk
Right.
is our bedroom.
I need to know that you can hold it and handle
And
it.
handle it when I let it go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's my thing,
Because I have a lot of stuff I need to let go.
Let go.
baby.
I want to hear, like, seriously, like, what are some of the things
And
that you
that's
think you need to
that's-
work on?
That's one of the things about me is the trust thing with guys because if I'm gonna lay it on the line, that's our shit. I don't want to hear your girlfriend when we get out. And
Right.
say, well, that's why he said you.
Right.
Excuse me.
Yeah. There's certain things that only you and I should know.
And that's my
Bedroom talk.
Absolutely.
And that, cause that bed, like you said, that pillow talk. When you lay in it and you have that good pillow talk, and like you tell, ooh, boo.
My thing is, I love foreplay throughout the day, the whole day. I love the touch. I love the touch. It can come across as being emotionally needy, but I gotta have it.
Well, and what do you mean? Like touch, like your shoulder, your
Touch
hand,
my shoulder.
like
Just touch
just
me.
physical
rub
touch.
my
Or
house.
a quick
So that's
phone
one of your
call
love
or something.
languages.
Or a quick phone call.
Yeah,
or
a quick
something.
phone
Yeah.
call.
Right.
I'm very playful. And I love that in my partner. And
That could scare guys off.
it's scary. Yeah, it can.
Right.
Yeah. But it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to lead to sex.
Right.
It's just foreplay. It's just
Right.
enjoying each other.
I'm a big kid there because I'm
Yeah,
also-
touch me. I
I'm
gotta
a
be
big,
touched.
I'm a big kid. Well, for me, I like to test limits. I like to test their limits, boundaries, whatever.
Now, what's your sign? Because I believe that shit matters too.
I'm right on the cusp of Aries and Taurus. I'm 420. Yes, best birthday ever. 420.
Oh.
Yeah.
And Calvin, what's your
I'm
sign?
Cancer.
And Mar?
Libra.
Libra, and I'm a Taurus. Okay. So now, what are some of the things that you think? What are the areas that you think you need to work on? I'll start. Or you want to start?
No, go ahead.
Well, what I would say is, what I knew I needed to work on previously was being able to communicate my feelings. Like if my feelings were hurt.
I think it goes around.
I think that's
And see, there was a time that I wouldn't always say, "You hurt my feelings when
a
you."
universal thing.
Absolutely,
Yeah, I think
you
that's
hurt my
it.
feelings when you did this,
I
when
think
you
they go
said
around.
that.
Yeah.
Because to me, it felt weak. and it almost felt like I was giving you the upper hand.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to come off, quote unquote, like you said, as needy. I felt like it felt needy.
And see, we're opposite. I have no problems with expressing that.
Yeah.
None at all.
Right.
I'm
I think it's
honest.
strength.
Yeah.
There's strength in
I
that.
love
I understand
honesty.
now.
I love
That's a
honesty.
good
Yes.
strength of it.
Yeah, that's strength.
Yeah.
Now I recognize that it's strength. Now it takes a lot of courage
Yeah.
to say you hurt my motherfucking feelings. I don't care how you got to say it. If you
Yeah.
got to text it, email it, write it down on a piece of paper, and leave it on the counter, you hurt my feelings when you did this,
Yeah.
when you said that, when you went here.
And when I'm
And I can say that Denzel did that a lot when in our relationship. If we had, my bad.
Marvin is telling us to stop saying that man's name. But anyway, go ahead. What?
Okay, but my last boo.
Well, they already heard you now, Corey.
Right. Wait,
They've already heard you,
Wait, the
Corey.
Golden Girls. That's it. Say share.
They've already heard you.
My bad. Yeah, but he was a good expresser of that. He would always say, Corey, you hurt my feelings, or Corey this, and I was like, what? I was like, wait a minute, but he was also a good flipper of our arguments. It was always his emotions. Oh, he's a Scorpio.
He whispering like they don't hear him. He's like, what sign was Denzel? Go ahead.
But
Microphone sitting right in his face. Go ahead.
okay, but he's always
Somebody give him some water, please. Somebody give him some
Can we
water.
talk about somebody else other than
No.
Denzel?
Oh,
Right. Look, that's the range of his relationship.
no.
That's the range of his relationship experience.
No. Only because all what you're talking about right now, I experienced a lot with that with Den.
That's it. We already know his name now.
Right.
His name is Denzel.
Okay, go ahead.
Cause he expressed a lot of the hurt that he said I gave him. But when I either want to rebuttal or say, okay, either I apologize and say, well, this is how you hurt me, he would downplay my hurt. He would always downplay, oh, that don't mean nothing. And I was like, wait, how is your hurt more than my hurt? Like, you said hurtful shit too. Like, if we're gonna have a conversation,
Yeah, you can't compare hurt. You can't.
But that's why I said a lot of times that's one of the things about building a relationship.
Absolutely.
When we get into the nuts and bolts of things, people want to be like, oh, they do this, they do that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
Yeah.
this tit for
Yeah,
tat.
tit for tat. It's not
Yeah.
that. No, today, no, you really screwed up.
Because you have to realize you're not dating yourself.
No.
So you're not going to be the same person. It took me a minute to realize that. So, because I'm easily hurt by my partner emotionally. But I've never held back on letting them know. Telling them, because I can stand in my shit. At 52 years old, I need honesty. Don't try
Yes,
to
Wendy.
protect me. Don't lie to me and say you protected me because you didn't want to hurt my feelings. When I'm telling you, I deal better with the truth.
Right.
When you give me the truth, you put it in my hand, and I make that decision. You know what I can deal with, or how much I can deal with. I can be an emotional mess,
Right.
but I'm stronger than most men.
Right.
I can take a whole lot of shit and deal with it.
Do you think that, because I personally believe that men are the most insecure creature walking.
I've always said that.
Do you agree?
I've always,
Corey, we're having a conversation. He over here playing.
I've always said that, Craig.
I believe that men are the most insecure.
Always said that. Men are very straight, gay, whatever.
Across the board.
Men are
Black,
very
white, Hispanic.
insecure. Men can be very, and I watch them. Just in my daily life.
Exactly.
Men can be very
But be
insecure.
honest
They're
with
some
me.
of the most insecure, more than women.
Absolutely.
Because women get into the emotional piece.
Yeah,
They get into
yeah.
their emotional side.
Women will move away, lick their own wounds, and then they'll come back
and come
even
back.
more fervent
Yeah.
and
And
active
And you
about
look
trying
at,
to.
that's why I always, Calvin and I always talk about this, about being respectful to our black women especially,
Absolutely.
and how much we love them, and how they get in the grind, and they can, you wonder why is she still dealing with that, and then 2 or 3 years later she's off and running on her own.
Absolutely.
Yes, because they get a plan, they get it and keep it moving.
You know, I just had this conversation. I
Yeah.
literally just had this conversation, and I was just saying to someone, there's something about a female energy And I don't mean like gay men have feminine energy, some. But I don't mean that kind of energy. I mean, there's an energy that women bring to a relationship that we just don't have.
Exactly.
No.
And they have a certain amount of
Grounding.
and stick-to-itiveness. They will keep, I mean, no matter how many times that man hurts her, if she's still in there emotionally, she's going to step away for a moment. She's going to lick her wounds. She's going to come back from a different angle, trying to, because she's just not, she's not willing to give up so easily. You know, and I think that sometimes we don't have the tools. I think that dynamic of masculine energy with masculine energy, and again, no matter how feminine a guy is, it's
still,
two men coming to the table.
Dude. Yeah.
Right. And I just don't think that we always have the tools to navigate.
And that's what happens why a lot of us roll.
Right. And I think that's a lot of times why in a lot of instances our relationships end prematurely. It has nothing to do with, because it's wrong to be gay, and I think we just don't have the tools. We don't have the wherewithal.
I think it's still a lot of
me,
testosterone.
It's still underneath there that
Yeah.
still comes up.
with me, it takes me a long time to let go. Even though I should just, I know I should let go. I hold on and I try to make it work.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and then it can come across as being weak to that person. But once I let you go,
I'm the same way.
And then
I'm
that's
the same
when.
way.
That's when,
I'm gonna fight to the end.
Oh, yeah.
But once I'm done,
I'm not that guy.
there's no turning back. See, you're not?
No.
Really?
Wait, Calvin, finish what you said, because I want to explore what you
But
were going to
once
say.
I let you go, that's when you're pursuing me now.
Yeah.
But
that energy shifts,
my
like two
energy-
can play that
I'm
game.
gone. Yeah, I'm done.
The
And,
movie.
see, and my mother, who raised 5 great sons, I'm the baby. I have nothing but brothers, but she always instilled in all of us. She said, enjoy your youth, enjoy your life. And she said, with all your relationships, enjoy it, whatever. But once you're done, you move on. Because if you go back, it's like taking 2 steps
No, you
back.
can't go
That's
back.
what she always said to
And
us.
see, here's the thing, and Marvin, I really want you to pick back up on what you're saying when you said you're not one that's going to just keep fighting and fighting and fighting. But I don't know if I completely agree with that. What? He's stubborn. Yeah, Marvin. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
See, I've never experienced that from Marvin because we've only been friends. So I don't know that side. But I don't know if I completely agree with that, Corey. Simply because.
But I think I would only because my mother. I've never actually went back with anybody.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. I don't know if I completely agree with that. And like people say all of the time, once you're done, you should never go back. I think it's not necessarily true. It's not so black and white. It's not so black and white for me because sometimes it really is about timing.
Timing, yeah.
Because I was in a situation with a guy who just emotionally, he wasn't there. He was very forthcoming. He was very forthright. He said to me, listen, I'm still broken from some previous shit before I met you. And he said, I really, really like you. He said, I didn't anticipate I was going to like you this quickly. He said, but I'm just not ready. He said, I'm not ready. And so, and I had to accept that. And a lot of times, what we'll do, men and women, we'll challenge it and we'll say, oh, you must be seeing somebody else. I took it at face value. That's what he said. That's what I believed. And I left it at that. But 6 months from now, if he was to reach out and say, hey, I'm in a better place now. I could never say, you weren't ready back then. I can't go back. So that's what I'm saying. I just think it's about circumstances.
I understand what you're saying. I guess it's stimulations with it.
Right.
I guess stimulations with it.
Right.
It is stimulations.
Is he saying stimulations or stipulations?
Whatever.
Stipulations.
Somebody, please get him some water.
A couple cold ones.
Somebody,
All
please
that
get him
old
some
shit.
water.
Whatever.
But Mark, what were you gonna say when you said you're not one to fight? Calvin and I said we're gonna keep working, trying to
See,
figure
I'm
out.
not going to do it.
So what's your limit though? What's your threshold?
It just depends. Different situations.
Give me an example of like you not.
Have you ever loved somebody to the point where you did
Go beyond.
beyond,
You stretched
yeah.
yourself
Oh, heck
beyond
yeah. Oh,
what
heck
was
yeah.
comfortable.
Oh, yeah. And so when I was in my 30s, I dated this guy.
Well, that was a long
Very
time
long,
ago.
very long,
That was
very
24
long.
years
Can we
ago.
talk about something- Can we talk about something recent?
Right. So I guess he's really set in his ways.
Yes. Very.
Thank you, audience.
I mean, we're talking about something in this decade at least. I mean, Jesus Christ. He done went back to.
That was the last really, heartbreaking situation.
Did that change you?
Hold on, everybody. Corey's getting ice.
Did
Hold
it
on.
change you?
Oh, it did. Oh, yeah.
It did?
Because as you said, that was 30 years ago.
Uh-huh.
As a
He said, well, that's a long time.
He could know. He could understand.
Right.
But that was a long time ago. But I tried to make become friends with him as of recent. And but during the time when we were back and forth, we'd argue. We wouldn't speak for 4 or 5 months, and it would just be too much. And so at some point, I got tired.
But was it because you think that you fundamentally you just weren't a match? I'm talking about a thing.
No, now that I look back on it as an adult, full-fledged 54-year-old,
yeah,
it was more lust than anything.
Absolutely.
But has there ever been an instance where you were emotionally connected, like that thing I just showed you earlier, where I said,
Yeah.
Let me find this. I can just share it with you really quickly. It said, where is it? Oh, hold on. Here it is. Attraction is flesh. Connection is soul.
Yeah.
So has there ever been an instance where it was a connection that was a soul connection
Not recent.
that you never fought for? That you ever fought for?
Once I'm done, I'm done.
Really?
Once I wrap my head around it and do my, because I really work on me.
And see, I really think that more
I
people
really work on me.
I think more people are like Marvin than they are like me and you, Calvin.
Absolutely.
I think
Yeah.
more people are
Yeah.
willing to walk away than they're willing to fight. And I say all of the time, I think that we've become more afraid of love than we are willing to try.
But I'm not really afraid of love. But it's just at some point you've already worked out in your mind why we here.
Right.
You start going through the challenges and the changes and everything, and then you say,
Well, at 52 years old, I don't want to easily walk away because I put this investment in, and and
yeah, but
you see the person the way you want to see that person, even if they're not presenting that to you, but you see that thing you want to see. And like recently, I think I gave this guy everything, and I was so mad when it didn't work because I felt like he took something from me, almost. He took something personal for me, almost tangible, that I got to a point where I was angry, because I felt like I gave you everything. I gave you all of me, my whole story.
right.
Yeah.
So then I think that kind of moves into a conversation about boundaries. Like, so is it a thing where, Calvin, that you wouldn't keep fighting for it if someone has crossed the boundaries that you set forth in a relationship?
But it took me a minute to understand that. I understood that after he was gone, after he left, and I know, oh my God, what the hell was I going through? Yeah,
To even allow that.
Then I knew it was me. It wasn't him because he's never shown me anything differently. He's always been him. The mess that came with that day he came was a mess. He left a mess.
But you had moved the bar and allowed it in.
Yeah.
So do you think that perhaps sometimes we just don't have the tools in terms of like when you're in the relationship, you're in the thick of it, as opposed to just throwing in the towel and saying, okay, I'm done. What about counseling? And I'll say that because I know a couple, now this was many years ago when I was in my 20s. I met this guy who was dating a friend of mine. And they dated for about 4 months. What I learned later was he was dating my friend during that 4-month period, that he had broken up from a guy he had dated for a year. So they had dated for a year, broke up for a year, and during that year that they broke up, he was dating my friend. Well, they subsequently ended up getting back. He ended up getting back together with his ex. But when they got back together, they went to counseling. And they went to counseling for about 1.5 years. Because what he said to me later was, he said, Craig, and this goes back to what I was saying to you, Corey, about I don't know if I could be so absolute to say I can never go back, because sometimes it's just about timing. He said, Craig, we didn't have the tools. We didn't know how to communicate to each other or with each other. And he said, we just needed somebody to kind of help us. Language.
I believe in counseling.
Yeah, and so they went to counseling. So is that an option for you? Have you ever said, well, hey, why don't we go to
I
counseling
believe in
before
counseling,
we...
but I've never been in a relationship where that
became an option.
we had to get to that point.
I never.
But like my last relationship down here, everybody, you guys know him. But the thing, even when he moved to DC, I thought then that we were going to rekindle what we left here.
Because I thought you were.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
But now we still hang out every now and then, and we still, as Calvin always
touch and agree.
As Calvin want to put it on the table.
I'm just saying. Calvin deals with truth.
I live in truth too, Calvin.
Yeah, stand in your shit.
I'm
Yeah.
not denying what I'm saying here, but anyway, but I still at this point wouldn't. I don't.
You don't
Never
see it.
say never.
You don't
but
see
I
it
just don't
happening.
see that happening.
Why?
But sometimes a relationship evolves into a good friendship.
Yeah.
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 Well, I don't sleep with my friends, Calvin.
Can you try to sleep with me?
Calvin, I don't want
You just trying to
nothing.
see me naked?
I don't want nothing you have. Now, you were in the bathroom a moment ago trying to see Corey.
I just want to build up his
See, I don't sleep
self-esteem.
with my friends.
I just want to build up his self-esteem.
You were trying to help him build up his self-esteem.
Oh, okay.
So,
You talking about voodoo sound? Let me see.
so wait, Marv. So you don't feel like a connection anymore with him? Not like that.
Not like that. Yeah.
Really?
But I care for him if he needs $10, $100, whatever.
Right. Oh, I'm gonna need more than $10.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying that as
That's
an
probably
example
why
because
they're not together.
That's probably why they're not together, right? Marvin is tight with the dollar, baby. Marvin tight,
He's
baby.
not. No, he's not. No, he's not. Marvin is a really
No,
good
he's
friend.
not tight. No,
Marvin's
he's
a really
not.
good friend.
But no, let me
But
ask
I tell you this though.
Go ahead.
I know I have my own emotional shit, my own baggage.
What is- that's what I wanna hear.
And I have my own insecurities.
Mm-hmm.
So, what really hurt me with him is that I thought he saw that, and he was okay with that. You know what I mean? Because he made me believe that he was okay with that. 'Cause I have my own I have my own shit.
we all
Right.
come down.
We all do,
yeah.
yeah.
And he knew all of my shit.
Right.
And I thought we were good. I thought he saw me.
Right.
And then seeing me, I thought he was okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
And when it didn't, when that wasn't the case or the truth, then it broke my heart.
So that was another level of hurt.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
because there's an emptiness that happens when he moves out, but then there's that other level that you're just talking about where that was that emotional part that was broken too.
I'm like, who does that?
So here's the thing that I want to ask you, because when you're younger, like in your 20s, and my friend Angela said this to me one time, it was just so profound to me. When you're in your 20s and you're young and you're just starting out, you do everything in your power to hide who you really are. You just want to really sit yourself up. You don't want anybody to see your mistakes, your flaws. But as you get older, it changes. You want people to see you for exactly who you
I
are.
don't want anything uncovered.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
I want everything.
You want everything uncovered.
uncovered.
Yeah.
I want it to be seen.
Yeah.
Because if we're going to work this thing through,
Absolutely.
but that's what I go back to. That's why I go back to saying, once we get into nuts and bolts and things start to
Absolutely.
unveil,
Yeah.
and you're like, whoa,
Right, right.
what the hell? You didn't tell me this. Yes, I did.
So that goes into the whole representative thing. People showing up.
Showing up.
Because a lot of
You
times
didn't
people don't
say
show
this.
up.
I did tell you that a long time ago. You just wasn't listening.
They send that representative, baby. That representative ain't there for at least 6 months.
Sit back and watch,
Yeah.
because the real person's coming.
Right.
So how much of your
Sit back and
childhood
watch.
do you think plays into your relationship? Because I really believe, because I really want to hear yours. I really do believe that a lot of my stuff that I carried into my relationships, especially early on, like in my 20s and 30s, I look back now and think about how those relationships could have been different. Not that I regret any of them, but I think about how they could have shifted if I was a different person.
You're still learning yourself.
You are. But that was when I identified that I was a hybrid of my mother when she's in a relationship and my father. My father would be a little bit terse. Like when my mother and father would get into an argument, he could be real short and real quick tongue. She was the opposite. She would shut down.
Really?
That motherfucker wouldn't speak to that nigga for weeks. She'd speak to everybody in the house but him. And I was a mixture of both. I had a quick tongue, and then when I shut down, I shut you out. And I realized that that's counterproductive. Now, that's one of the things that I have to work on still. Not the quick tongue and all that. I don't shut down. I don't do that. But in terms of really continuing to move through the relationship, even though there's an issue right on the table, because I really do think that it's counterproductive when you shut down completely.
Yeah, I used to be a shutdowner.
So what do you think some of your childhood, what you said?
Ain't never been no shutdown.
I've been a shutdown.
Right. So what do you think some of your childhood stuff is that shows up in your relationships?
I think my parents are still together. They've been together for
Yes.
over 50 years, and I think one of the things that I'm more like my mom. My mom probably should have left my dad a long time ago. You know.
And you still feel like that?
No. My
But
mom loves my
earlier.
dad. My dad absolutely loves my mom.
Yeah.
But my dad has always had a girl. I've always known he had a girlfriend.
Yeah.
My mom has always known that.
Yeah.
You know, and my mom would tell me sometimes, she said, "Now that's my husband. You get out of our business."
And that's
Right.
that was
Yeah.
the era.
That was the era. Yeah.
Not
Shit,
an
that's now.
Not an
Yeah.
excuse.
Right.
But that era of those folks. That was an era.
Yeah.
Of, you know, you knew
Yeah,
Pops
you
had
had,
a-
another family.
4 doors down.
Right. Round the
My-
corner.
Yeah.
But my mom would sometimes just curse my daddy out. He would just sit there and just listen. And then he'd finally say, okay, that's enough. You know, she'd kind of ease down.
She would
She would say
pull
what she gonna say.
She would say what she gonna say. Right.
Absolutely. And
But she knew when to.
yeah, but I'm like that. You know, I can have a vicious tongue when you make me mad. I can get, oh my God. And I need to work on that. You know, when you make me mad, I purposefully try to hurt you. When you hurt me,
Right.
I can get to that point. But it takes a lot to get me to that point. But my mom was like that. My mom took a lot from my dad. And then I think she became Miss Bruce instead of, you know, I don't know what my mom's dreams were. Because she became my father's wife. And she said, you know, your father's a good provider. Your father's a good daddy. You know, he may not be the best husband, but he's a good daddy.
Yeah.
You know, and he's always been a good daddy.
You know what that reminded me of? It reminded me of Fences, the movie with Viola Davis and Denzel Washington. It's based on the play, the Broadway play. But remember, I don't know if you saw it, but when they were in the backyard, and it just, the relationship had culminated. It had got to the point where she was just done. Like, she was just over it. Like, she was in love with this man. She was a homemaker. She was always there for him, riding for him. And then he stepped out and had a child with somebody else, and she ended up having to raise that child. They had this knockdown, drag out argument in the backyard, and she said to him, "Do you think I didn't have dreams? Do you think that this is what I wanted my life to be?" You know what I mean? Like, it was such a powerful moment in that movie. And what I would say is, I think that, I don't know if it's just an era, because
she won the Oscar for that, didn't she?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know. Now, I can't. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure. But I think that I don't know if it's just an era, because I do believe that is still happening now.
Well, it
and
still
I think
happens, but it's not accepted.
it's not as accepted, right? Because
Well, it
people
still happens.
right? Because people would
But
know
that
back
was
then.
back then.
Yes.
Women just kind of moved along.
Yes.
You have to listen to the undertone here. What Calvin said. Mama said,
Yes.
your dad's a great provider.
Yeah.
Yes.
Calvin
Yeah.
didn't understand the difference.
Yes.
At a kid, your dad's a great. Pops was, because we had a house, we had
Right.
food.
He brought his check home.
Yeah, he got the
He
check.
had philandered.
Right.
My mom
But
always managed the money.
Yeah.
see what I'm
Always
saying?
managed
You see what I'm
Yeah.
talking about? So
Yeah.
when they say a great provider at 10, you don't know the difference between a great provider and
Right.
a big husband.
Right.
But because she said might not be a good husband because that's their stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And see, you know, I kind of wonder if sometimes we have because I'm a relationship driven person, and I'm a monogamous person. Two things at play here. I don't think that monogamy is so easy for everyone.
It's not.
No.
And I think that's a
And it's
hetero.
not for everyone.
It's not for
Right.
everyone. That's one. And then the other part of it is, I am of the belief that most men aren't really ready to settle down
That's where
until
the
they're
honesty,
in
that's
their
where the
50s.
honesty and the truth comes in.
Until they're
you
in
never,
their 50s.
you
Right.
never know what the other person will accept or can deal with.
I
can
agree.
do. Yeah.
Because I believe whatever you're looking for is also looking for you. So if you're looking for an open relationship, if you tell a person day one, now don't come tell me that shit because I'm done.
We're done.
But
we're not even doing that.
There's somebody who's okay with that.
Right.
Corey and I just had a conversation about
Right.
the three thing.
Right.
The threesome
Yeah.
thing. Open. You might as well stay single.
Right.
Do you?
Right.
But on your end.
But see, some would argue, well, no, I don't want to stay single because I want to share my bills with you. I want to live with you. I want to come home with you. I want to have someone to spend time with
gets
on the
shaky
weekend.
after a
Right.
Yes,
They always do.
It adds another element.
They always do get shaky.
But there are guys who've been in relationships for a long time that do turn to open relationships, and I think those may work better than meeting somebody and then automatically get into an open relationship. No, but I mean, it's not for me.
So now, how do you think your childhood or your upbringing plays into the kinds of relationships that you get into?
Because it takes a lot for me to let go. Because I see the good in people, and I try to make it work.
Like your mom did.
Like my mom
with your
did.
dad.
And I take a lot. I take a lot.
And I
But
think
once
that's
I'm
with me,
done, I'm done. And then I can lash out. And it bothers me that I've allowed that person to change who I am. Because I will say I can say some nasty things. But
And see, for me, I think that my mom dated a married guy for many years. Like, they lived around the corner. And
your mom was the other woman.
She was. She was. And then I dated a guy who was married. And I didn't think about it at the time. It wasn't until I was writing it in the second book that it dawned on me that probably I was okay with it because on some level, on some subconscious level, it was okayed through watching it. It was modeled for me.
Sure.
You know, so I think about it just in the same way that I said I was a hybrid of my mom and my dad. I was quick-tongued, but I could also shut down. It was the same thing. And I say to people all the time, when you have kids, you have to be mindful of the relationships that you're demonstrating for your kids, because if you bring in a bunch of people home all of the time, they're gonna see that.
Yep.
If you have this loveless, passionless relationship, you come in the house, he comes in the house, and you're not even communicating, and there's no emotion. Like they watch, they model that.
Yeah.
They model that.
What's so interesting is my daddy's girlfriend, daughter, was good friends with my classmate actually, and good friends with my sister. So she would come over, she would sleep over at my parents' house, at my house. And my mom was always good to her. And in fact, I think she may be my sister. I call her my sister anyway. But yeah, my mom has been a very, very wonderful wife. And my dad has always been crazy about his kids. My dad think I'm the best thing since sliced bread. You know, and he's always known I'm gay, but you know, my dad is crazy about me.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, how does your sexuality, do you think, play into your relationships? And more specifically, do you think that whether or not your family has embraced you plays a part in how you get into a relationship with someone whose family has not?
Yes. Well, with me, I have a certain freedom that I share because my family does embrace me. Have always embraced me. And there are guys that I've met that love the fact that my family embraced me, but at the same time, they envy that.
They envy it.
Yeah. And sometimes it can come across as, they think, like, they see me now, they think I'm going to change when I get home with my parents, my family. I'm different when around. I'm not.
Right.
So sometimes it can come across as, Calvin may be too femme. Or, you know, it's just that I'm comfortable with it.
Right.
I love being me.
There's a freedom that comes.
Yeah, don't get me wrong now. I can be a thug.
You what?
I can be a thug.
You can be a what?
Thug.
Did the microphone break up?
Yeah. I'm not really sure what happened right there. Had a little technical difficulty.
Can we curse on this thing?
We can.
Motherfucking thug, yo.
Oh, that's him coming out.
You heard that?
Oh, what was it?
Motherfucking thug.
Corey thought it was a storm.
I was like, right.
But no, I love being me. It took me a minute to understand that I'm okay being me. Yeah, I'm okay with being me.
But see, that's that self-care work.
Yeah.
That I think a lot of us, and when I say us, I'm talking about men of color, haven't done.
Yeah.
And some of that self-care work
So
is
true.
around our sexuality and our level of outness.
That's so true about your family.
Yeah.
That can turn a guy away.
Absolutely. Because they'll be like, well, are you out to your family?
And they'll say that to me immediately. You out to your, because we do family trips every year.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, you have you ever taken somebody? Actually, my family encourage.
Did Marvin just say tooken?
No, he did not
No, I
say
didn't say taken.
I think he did. I'm going to play it
You
back.
did not
in
say
a moment,
chicken.
though.
No, I didn't say
I'm gonna
took.
throw
I think he said. I think he said
Never
token.
taken.
Well, sometimes I think
he
he's the
said
only word. That's the only thing.
Well, you better X that out because that's not my.
No, I'm not going to ask it out. I'm going to leave it in there.
Oh my God.
I'm going to leave it right in there. But you know, I think that we should turn it around on people and be like, so wait, your family doesn't know about you?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
Because
Your
no,
family
and I'll go back and say your family don't know about you. You know, because my family encouraged me to bring somebody.
Yeah.
You gonna bring somebody this year with you? It's always just me. No, I'm not bringing just anybody around my people. I've always been that way. But no, it's what Calvin says. It's like those my people.
yeah.
All my nieces and nephews love me.
My
too.
people.
Yeah, I'm the favorite uncle.
Yeah, those are my people.
Well, for me, having the Caribbean background, both my parents from Trinidad. So
Right.
when I didn't come out, but my father found out from a phone conversation and everything, that whole issue of like, okay, yeah, you're gay, whatever. And I'm the baby son. I have 7 older brothers because my father was married before. He had 3 boys. Then he got married to mom. I had 5. So all he have is sons. So it's like, oh, your baby son is a gay boy. And so it really hurt him. And I saw how it hurt him. And it kind of like, damn.
You're not carrying that torch alone, Corey.
But because you're so femme, that's
Yeah,
probably why you
Look, the vase calling the vase mean. But Corey,
and he rubbing me.
Look, let me give it to him again. The vase calling the vase Ming. Okay, not the pot calling the color black.
Right.
The vase calling the vase Ming. But no, so Corey, no, I really want you to share that story though. So what was that like? So he overheard you on the phone. Y'all stupid.
No, because I had hung out, whatever. Because they had went up to New York. And
I've met some of his brothers.
And you know what?
Refresh Calvin's drink.
Wait, all my friends want my brothers. They is terrible.
Really?
Is he fine? Are they fine, Marvin? Oh, they just okay.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Whatever.
You don't want to drink that.
Make that
Anyway, this is so silly. But he had heard the conversation because they were in New York and they came back and he heard the conversation because I hung out. And it was just crazy because I was like, he walked past my room because I was on the phone. I was like, oh shit.
So he walked past the room and he heard you.
No, he was on the phone. I heard like somebody's on the phone and this guy was just telling me about
your
the
weekend.
guy. About a guy that he met the weekend that we was out. And I was like, let me call you back.
So you heard your father pick up.
I just heard somebody pick up the phone. I was like, hold up, wait, let me call
But
you
he
back.
had already heard.
And he's like, no, let me just tell you about this. I'm like, no, dude, wait. And I was like, I got a headache. He's like, oh, you know the best thing for a headache is sex and child. I'm like, goodbye.
You should have hung up on him.
I was like, goodbye. But then my dad walked past my room, and then he came back upstairs, and then my mom was like, yo, Dad want to talk to you. And I was like, oh shit.
And you knew.
I was like, oh shit. And I walked in the room and he was like, you know where this motherfucker was? And my dad was cussing at me. He was like, you know where my dad, it's Korean, he was like, you know where this motherfucker was? This motherfucker thought he was all these motherfucking faggots. I was sitting there at the door like, oh my God. Like, I was like, is this a dream? I was so shocked. I was just saying to like, Lord, please wake me up from this dream. Please wake me up. I'm like, Jesus.
Wow.
I was like, please wake me up from this dream. And then my mother, she got on the edge, she crossed her legs. She said, so Corey, do these guys fuck you in your ass or do you fuck them? I said,
oh. Well, did you tell her the truth?
Yeah, he get fucking
no,
ass.
at the time,
I just want to know if you told her
at
the
the
truth.
time, I was only 19 and I said I had not done anything. I had not done nothing but suck a dick. So I was like,
Did you tell her that?
No, I didn't tell her that. But all I said, like, Ma, no, I don't do nothing. Like, Ma, I don't do nothing. Ma, I don't do nothing. And it was just crazy. I was just like, because it's like, what the I was like,
Calvin, I want you to share that story that you know my favorite story.
I'm telling you another story.
No, wait, you gonna share another story first? Okay, go ahead.
But Corey's not done.
Yes, he is.
whatever. NT way.
Okay, now what did Mama say?
No, whatever. Fuck Mama.
Not
Not
the mama.
No, not that. No.
That's why you run around here sucking dicks and stuff.
Corey has beautiful parents.
But I love, but we have grown so much. I mean, my dad, because his brother is gay. My uncle is gay, which is his half brother. And my mom and dad, they have really grown there, except because they stay at my house now. Corey, we coming up. Can we stay with you? Yeah, of course. I give them my bedroom. They stay with me. I have no problem. I love my parents. Those are my parents. And I think even in my relationships, stepping back, when you say upbringing with your relationships, within my relationship, I would fight because a lot of times people get arguments and they run.
Mm-hmm.
I would, because we just have an argument, we have a disagreement. You don't have to say it's over, whatever, it's done. Because
most people think that, not most, I shouldn't say most, but a lot of times when you have an argument, for some, it's an indication that the relationship is over.
Yeah.
It's like, well, we just had an argument. Like,
because I've
healthy relationships.
Right.
Have.
I was grown.
But that's a defense mechanism when people run.
I was raised watching my parents. They had disagreements. My mom and dad, they have disagreements or arguments, whatever. My mom would still go down there, cook that meal, whatever, and put her husband plate on the table and say, but this is when you notice you're mad. Go tell your father his food ready. Mm-hmm. She said, go tell your father his food ready. Daddy, Mommy said your food ready.
With your dick sucking ass.
So Calvin, so you want to share another story first?
Yeah, I remember I was dating this guy in college. He was the captain of the baseball team. Prentice Thompson, and I took him home one weekend. And we going out to this straight club, and we got home about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, and he was military reserve.
Okay.
He had this little T-shirt with these little gray army shorts.
Okay.
So he changed into those, and we're in the kitchen getting something to eat, and.
But at this point, your family knows you're gay, or you have had a conversation?
not. They know. Yeah, they always know I was gay, but we haven't had that conversation.
Okay, right.
I had it with my mom.
Okay.
And so anyway, I went to the den, and he was in the kitchen making something to eat. So when I came back, he was sitting on top of the counter.
On the counter.
Dick hard.
Ooh.
So
his dick was hard.
And the lights were off, kind of in the kitchen. So
The lights was off. How you know dick was off?
He went down there and started sucking on it, didn't you?
Thank you.
Wait.
I already know where this is going.
You know,
So wait a minute.
What Calvin?
I'm the only one suck dick.
See, I was picking up what he was putting down. Go ahead. So the dick was hard.
Anyway, dick was hard. I was sucking the boy dick.
In your family
hard
house.
as fuck. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a house. We had to do something. Anyway,
I didn't have a house. We had to do it something.
so anyway, the lights came on.
Ooh.
And you was sucking his
Oh
dick?
my God! It was my daddy coming in. He couldn't see me.
When he got cataracts or something?
No, when he first walked in, you can't see.
Right.
Oh, your boy Black was to him.
No, so Prince jumped up. And oh my God! He pulled his shorts up.
But the dick was still hard.
My dad said, "What y'all doing?" I said, "No, we just got in." And so he turned around, went back to the bedroom. Years later, when I told him I was gay,
God.
my dad said, "I knew you was gay when you was in that kitchen sucking that boy dick." Cause he jumped down, and he said he jumped down. His dick was hard.
Ooh.
I
Baby.
said, "Really?"
You were a full-grown woman when he told you that. He had kept that story all
He
the
said,
years.
"I knew y'all was doing something." He said, "You gonna have that." He said, "That boy dick was hard." We know. I said, "Oh."
Now I want you to share the story that I absolutely love because see, I really do think that you move throughout the gay community differently when you come from a family that embraces you.
Okay. One
That's so
Christmas,
true.
my dad bought my mom bought my sister this baby doll.
Right.
Like the Barbie. Well, it wasn't a Barbie. It was
The
like
little Barbie head that's
it
on
was
like
a Barbie
the platform.
head, and yeah, on the platform, and it had rollers and stuff at the bottom. Anyway, me and my sister used to fight about that damn doll.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I was, it's my turn. My dad said, "Why you fight with her about that doll? You know that's hers." So anyway, that went on for about a week, I think. I came home one day. My dad had bought my own doll. She had the white. I had the black.
She had a white girl.
So he bought me a black doll, and I was afraid of the dark, and so we were all in the den, and I had so much grease.
That infamous den.
Yes, I was in the den. I had all this grease in the doll's hair, so I couldn't get the comb to go through. And my dad said, "You need to wash the doll's hair out." I said, "I'm not going in that bathroom by myself.
I'm not going down there in that
I'm
dark.
not by myself." So anyway, he turned the light on. He said, "Go on in the bathroom." I said,
He walked down the hall with
No,
you.
he turned the light on. Then he said, "Go wash the doll's hair out." I said, "I'm not going out there in the dark by myself." I said, "Go turn the light on in the bathroom." So he went and turned the light on in the bathroom.
You told him to go turn the light on
so
in the
he turned the
bathroom.
light on in the bathroom. So I went in. He came in with me. He ran some water in the tub so I can wash the doll's hair.
He sat down on the toilet.
On the toilet.
He sat down on the toilet, and then you washed the doll's hair out in the tub. I think that is the most adorable story because
Especially for a dad.
for a black dad.
Oh, my dad think I told you my dad think I'm the best thing.
I understand, but I mean, that's just not a story that we often hear, and that is the kind of story
And my dad is not a
that needs to be in media,
My
like in
dad
television
my
shows.
daddy is a man's man.
Sure.
Right, because the only stories that we really hear when we watch on television shows or movies or whatever,
Dad knocking the shit out.
your dad knocking the shit out of you, your family not really embracing you, you know, that kind of thing. I think that's a remarkable story because I really think, again, going back to what I was saying about parents modeling certain relationships, behaviors for their kids. The same thing with media. We need to see that because I think it would model for fathers in the world who watch certain programming that it's okay to embrace your child.
Yeah, and I think that's what really hurt my dad because I was so close with my dad. I grew up because out of my brothers, I mean, even the two who were born right before me, they were born here. Well, one born in Canada, one born in the States, but they grew up in Trinidad. But I was born and raised
He's
here.
giving us all of theirs.
But I was born and raised. I was under my dad, and my mom was like, even after she's like, you know, this kind of really hurt your dad because you were his son. I went everywhere. I was with my dad 24/7, even whatever. And then even after I came out, he was like, it hurt him, But then I guess after they got the initial shock and they realized that I'm not one of the flaming queens walking out here with a dress.
Because our parents have these ideas of what they think gay means and what it looks like. Because I had that idea coming into the community.
Same here.
I used to think, okay, well, I think sometimes we resist it. In some instances, some of us resist it because it feels like if it means I'm gay, if I'm accepting and claiming that, then that really means that I want to be a woman or I got to be extremely feminine.
And I'm not that. So it's like, it was like I could still hang, and now I still hang out. So we got that. My dad, he like, oh yeah, Corey, let's go. And like he'll call me like, Corey, I want to go here. I want to go there. Oh,
once they realize that you haven't changed.
Yeah, it's like I'm still the same boy that you raised. It's just
well, it's an adjustment for the whole family.
It is.
And that's another podcast.
It is.
It's an adjustment for the entire family, both sides. For the mom and dad, and for the person who's telling the girl or boy, who's sharing. Hey, look, here's the deal. I like boys, or I like girls.
Right.
And it's an adjustment.
So now, when it comes to dating. Do you date typically around your age, younger, older? What is the dynamic like in terms of dating younger?
I date younger.
How much younger?
I don't like nobody
younger.
my age.
I don't like anybody my age either, but I think I'm getting to that. I'm
starting to shift
towards that.
I'm not getting close, but because I am looking for permanency.
Right.
Yes.
So I am trying to move that age up a little.
Yeah.
But
well, see, because I look so young, you know, I usually.
Is it storming again?
Well, you know, because I look so much younger than I really am. You know.
they call you daddy also.
Again?
Right.
I think it's storming again.
I typically attract like 20, so like 25, 28,
That's what I attract.
30.
Yeah.
So, like, are you open to that? No, or what?
Because they're looking for a daddy figure. You know, they're looking for a daddy. You know, sometimes I'm open to that. You know, because sex is the bomb. But anyway, but not for a relationship.
True. Right. Right.
No, we
and
can respect each other.
And they want to be in a. I've met a few guys who, in their early 30s,
want to be in a relationship.
Who want to really be in a relationship. When I see them moving their track is kind of fast, I'm like, whoa. And then they'll say to me later on, hey, Marv, you know, I really like you like that. I'm like, oh, really? You can see the signs that they really like, but I'm like,
and you don't know if it's
dude,
a relationship
you're 30.
or stability.
You're 30.
Well, see, here's my issue with it. Because, I mean, I'm open to, not 25, but I'm open to dating a little younger, but there's some caveats to it. Because, see, the challenge for me is I've been 28, 29, 30, 32. So I know what it's like to be those ages. You don't know what it's like to be 43.
No.
I've already been down that road.
Yeah.
And so there's certain roads that I don't want to travel again. And so because you're at that age, you have the right to still go to the clubs every week.
To experience it, yeah.
Right, to experience it. With all of the stuff that comes at that age.
If you date somebody at that age, then you should allow them to do that.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you have to trust.
Yeah, you have to go into it knowing. And see, one of the reasons that I sometimes refuse to date at that age is because I don't really want to go down that road again. I don't want to hear you telling me about you going to Pride this year, you going to the Sizzle, and then you're going down to the Splash, and then because that's what you should do at that age. But I don't want to go that road with you.
Because we get this where they're like, oh, y'all not hanging out with no more, whatever. Like, no, we head to the bar, we going home. They're like, oh, it's still early. Oh, it's early for you.
Right.
Yeah.
And see, you should do that.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying I don't want to go down that road with you. The other part of it is because you're at that age, there's a certain amount of emotional intelligence that you probably haven't developed yet.
Exactly.
Your age is always going to show up because what they always say is, oh, well, I'm different. I'm very mature. Yeah, you probably are. But your age is going to show in some... Your age is going to show in some way. If it doesn't show up in your finances... Yeah, and if it doesn't show up in your finances, oh, hey, I need a little help with my cell phone bill, or hey, can you help with my rent? If it doesn't show up in that way...
today.
Right, because I bought sneakers, so can you help me with my cell phone bill? If it doesn't show up in your finances, it's going to show up in your emotional maturity or lack thereof. You're not going to have the tools oftentimes.
A 28-year-old is still thinking like a 25.
Absolutely.
24-year-old.
Absolutely. Right.
Especially with guys.
Right.
Women always.
Right. More
mature. But guys, a 28-year-old guy is still thinking 25. Maybe 24.
Yeah.
Just depends on his relationship with mom.
And sometimes at the end of my day, I need you to be able to help me. I need you to be able to anchor me.
Sure.
Yes.
And at 28, sometimes you can't anchor me because your focus ain't
too
there.
busy.
I'm
I'm out trying to get out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You trying to get to the hookah
Yeah.
lounge. And see, I don't smoke hookah. You understand what I'm saying? So your focus isn't there.
Yeah.
And then at this age, you really, really do enjoy your rest. You when you get off work, you want to go home and just lay down, don't want to be bothered with nobody, and I love a nap.
I know.
I love me a nap too.
I-
That's part of the reason why I look so
Right,
young.
nap.
Corey. You should start taking some naps, Corey.
Well, I work all day, boo. I'm sorry, I work all day.
You should
I
catch
work
up on some naps, Corey.
I work all day.
You look a little nap deprived.
Marvin covered his face laughing.
Corey, you look a little nap deprived.
What he look, Marvin?
Nap deprived.
All right. And you kiss me?
You look young.
Oh God. No, so no, seriously though. So with all of this that we've said, like, do you fear growing old alone, or do you?
I do. Not as much as. Well, let me tell you. Not as much as I used to because I have a great network of friends.
Mm-hmm.
And the older I get, my group gets smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
And that's what I count on.
Cherish.
That's what I cherish. And then I know Marvin's not gonna ever find anybody.
So you'll always have him. Especially if he ain't gonna fight for the relationship. Yeah, he'll always be here.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I keep a room for him.
Well, I don't have a.
Mars room. Okay, right.
Well, I don't have a fear. I don't have a fear. I like Kevin. I think because I developed such good friendships with Marvin and through Marvin with y'all, everybody. I mean, I'm developing true, genuine friendships, and I'm only going to follow this because I had a 20-something year relationship with one of my best friends that I met in '93, and we're not friends anymore now.
Really?
And that hurt my heart, but I'm developing. You could really, as I get older, you could really see true friendships, whatever. So it's like, if I don't date, or if I don't have,
If I am single.
yeah, if I am single, or get a couple pieces, like how this one says, get a couple pieces, whatever. At least I know I have my friends behind. I have my back. Who, like I said, Marvin. If I die, that box in the corner, throw it out the corner before my mother get to the house, because that's on my porn. Just throw it out. You know, it's like stuff like that.
She already knows what's in that box.
No, she don't. No, she don't. No, she don't.
She's been to that box.
No, she don't.
She's been to that box.
No, she don't. No, she don't. No, she don't.
Or she's been to that box.
No. No, Mama, just throw that box out. But I'm just saying. But it's just I don't have that fear anymore. I think at one time I'm like, damn. I'm like, am I just gonna go be single for the rest of my life? But no, I don't have that fear anymore. And I think I will date again at one certain point in my life. I think I will, and I think at that time, hopefully, it will be for the rest of my life.
Despite what Calvin says, I do.
Despite what Calvin says.
Just in case.
I do feel a relationship is nice.
It is.
I don't push it to the side, but I'm not pressed. If it happens, it happens. As we said, friendship is important. I nurture my friends, my relationship with my friends, my family. I keep my family close to me.
Yes,
They're
definitely.
very, so I got that life.
You have a great family.
But the thing is, it's nice to have a warm body, somebody. But the trust, as we talked about it earlier, the trust thing for me is very important.
key.
I don't give a fuck about that you screwing around on the outside. I'm talking about the trust that you and I have about conversations,
Exactly.
just things that we have to keep up. I have a sister that her and her husband, the unity between the two of them is just like awesome.
Right. Yes.
You know, when you walk into their home, they could just had a huge argument. Just leave it alone. Let them handle that. Go on downstairs in the basement, get your cold beer, and take it easy.
You have such a grown-up relationship.
Because it's a grown-up relationship. And so that's the kind of relationship. If I'm going to do it, let's do it.
Yeah.
But I'm not pushing it off because I wouldn't mind a relationship.
I have with Robert.
Because I am in a position where I like to kind of go and flow when I feel. Y'all know that. You know,
And
I'm a
that's the
free
thing.
flower. I like to do what I want to do. Get on a plane. And where you at? I'll meet you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Let's
Right.
do it.
Right.
And that's another thing. I don't have to label my relationship a relationship, but I would love to have a dude that is comfortable with him,
Mm-hmm.
and he needs to share his friends with me.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm gonna share my friends with you,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and we don't have to live together, but we have to have some mutual respect. I want to travel with you.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to.
I wanna share my life.
I want to share my
Yeah.
life.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't have to call it what, you know. We don't have to be a
Don't
relationship.
put a label on it.
Yeah, we don't
Don't
have
put
to
a
label
label
that.
on it.
Right.
But I'm gonna need to see you, and I'm gonna need to talk to you. You know, you come over and you take care of things that you know I need taken care of at my house, and I come over, whatever. You know, know me,
Right.
know me, and know that
What's important to me?
what's important to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have to label you.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I want somebody who
I have your back.
has my
Yeah.
back.
Right.
Yeah,
Definitely.
we take trips together and we have fun.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, celebrate me so I can celebrate you.
Right.
Lift you up.
Without being
Yeah.
intimidated. Or
Intimidated,
Right.
yeah.
Because I think that part of what I've noticed a lot is the qualities that often draw people to you are often the same qualities that make them
Run them
insecure
away. Run them away.
when they're around you, when they're
Yes,
with you.
yes.
Right. It brings out
Mhm.
their insecurities.
Mhm. Yeah,
And you're like, well, this is the shit that you liked about me.
exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Goes back to again when you're
Yeah.
in the trenches.
Yeah.
It's a whole different. Oh
It
my
is.
God! Whoa!
Because their stuff comes out.
Yeah.
And your stuff comes out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about whether or not you can, your stuff mesh or not.
I'm at a point now. I have to tell guys, you know, I have a big personality. I really do, and part of that is because of my insecurities. That I have this big personality. But I'm not trying to be center of attention.
Right.
I'm not trying to be anything.
Right.
You know, but if this is the thing that you are attracted to, don't beat me down with it later.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, because you feel like I'm overshadowing you.
Right.
So let's not do that.
Because I always date the primary singer in the group, the lead. I don't mind being.
You don't mind being the
I don't
background.
mind being the background
Yeah.
singer.
Yeah.
But because I am an introvert,
Yeah.
I love to go home and shut the door,
Yeah.
pull the blinds, and
Yeah.
chill at my house. I'm good with that. You guys have all been to my house.
You don't mind doing the oohs
No,
and
and
ahs.
y'all know how comfortable and warm it is when you
Yeah.
come up in there and chill and
Baby.
take it easy.
And making your stoli donis.
And the bar's there if you want to make a cold drink. It's a little food in there if you want it. But
Right.
But you.
but
Right.
I've had guys, just like Calvin just said, think I'm that guy, the quiet, but if we're at a party or a function,
You come up.
Mark's
Yeah.
gonna come
You
in.
come alive.
Yeah.
Come to life.
Because
Yeah.
I like to talk shit
Yeah.
and crack
Yeah,
a joke
yeah.
and talk, have fun. And
Yeah.
same with Calvin.
Yeah.
Calvin's the same way. He'll go on a party and turn the party. We have so
Yeah.
much fun. We can
Yeah.
talk like I am today from
Right.
last night.
Right.
But that's just how I am. But on the flip side, I can go back to the house
And chill.
and I've had guys that say to me, you was interesting at the party.
Yes.
What?
What does that
Right.
mean?
It was a party. What do you mean, sir?
Yeah.
Right.
Right. I was in a relationship with a guy, and I think he was used to being in relationship with guys that were least interesting. He was a doctor. He had
So
his
he could
own-
always be
the lead.
the lead. Yeah.
And he was a doctor. He had his own practice, you know, and he dated people that worked in customer service.
Sure.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
But I'm just saying.
Because I'm good with that.
Absolutely. He was dating, you know, people who worked in customer service and they just didn't have a big career like he had. And then here I come along. I done wrote and produced plays. I'm talking about I'm starting a greeting card
Yeah,
business
yeah.
and that, you know what I mean?
Because
And-
on the surface, Craig, you
Yeah.
don't come off that guy.
Right.
So you just easy breezy.
Easy
walk the-
breezy.
Right. Dude from Baltimore.
Little
Breaking
shady-
windows.
Look, that
and
shady
stand on the
motherfucker.
corner with a
That
40.
shady
Yes.
motherfucker.
That's me.
Shady motherfucker.
Hood to the end.
Hood to the
He
end.
cleans up well.
Right.
Right. Shady motherfucker.
Don't misunderstand.
I was afraid of you for a while until Marvin told me you were okay. I don't want to hear you cut me, is it?
Oh my God. But you know, and it's just like, you know, but people have to be willing to get past that first
Yeah.
layer.
Yeah.
They gotta be willing to get past
Yeah.
that first layer.
But the thing is, you cannot be your occupation.
Correct.
Yeah, your occupation not make who make
And
you.
they don't. But what I've learned,
It's so boring.
people can fall in love with your dreams.
Yes.
They can fall in love with your career too.
Yeah.
That's
I
good.
can be unemployed and go into a party and run the room.
Absolutely.
Yes. Because I'm comfortable
Shit,
with me.
I done did that.
Yeah.
I done did that. I was unemployed. I went. Bob was like, "Oh, Corey had the room for going." Go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I done did
Yeah.
that.
But so for me, I don't have a fear. I was having this conversation with my mom a couple weeks ago when I was thinking about doing this podcast. And I don't have a fear of growing old alone because I'm one of those people like you and you know, where I draw people to me. I have one of those personalities that people just kind of come around me. And so even if I'm not in a relationship, I'll always have people around me. So I don't have that fear
Exactly.
of growing old
Because
alone.
I love people.
Yeah.
The conversation we need to have is just because you're DL or just because you wear baggy jeans and you're sagging does not make you better than somebody who's out.
Right.
Yeah, because when you get into bed, you opening your legs, you spreading your legs. I love DL boys though. You know, they got good booty.
They got what?
Good booty.
I told Corey that
Oh, good
the other day.
Ooh,
I
them
told Corey
DL.
that the other
Ooh.
day. Corey
Yeah.
almost fell out the car.
Yeah. And
You told Corey the same
Well,
thing.
we were just because we were riding through Southwest the other day going to
Hey,
the
Corey
Track
said,
Museum.
"Oh, he said, oh yeah."
Also, yeah, that was
Them
the
there
ones
boy,
right there.
He said they took good
yeah.
dick. They took good
oh, they
dick.
take good dick. And the thing is,
And they good kisses. And they good kisses.
and they become more femme than
Hello?
An out boy.
our boy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm just telling you my experience.
I'm telling you my experience.
Right. See, yeah.
Those boys with all the muscle and all the swag,
Yeah, 'cause
whatever,
that
become bitches.
That one little there boy.
Yes, in bed. Oh my God,
Great
they become
kisser.
bitches.
He was a
Yeah.
good kisser.
Yeah.
But what I think needs to happen too is.
But I love it now. Y'all keep doing that.
Yeah, what?
Y'all keep doing that.
But you know, I think.
But we need to have the conversation
Yeah.
about DL and stop putting each other down. You know, and we need to, especially the black men. You
Yeah.
know.
But that goes back to our early conversation
Yeah.
about being, you
Yeah.
gotta know, you gotta talk about these things.
Yeah.
The emotional piece is not there. That's
Exactly.
what's missing.
Yeah.
For longevity.
Right.
And just because I'm out and I'm comfortable being
Yeah.
out doesn't mean that the person that next to me is comfortable being out, or that I need to force you to come out. You come out when you're ready to come
Right.
out.
It's
but
a
don't
very
you?
personal
But don't
process.
you put other people down
Right.
who's comfortable being out, because what they do have that you don't have is a freedom
Absolutely.
that you don't feel.
Absolutely.
That's
Yes.
true. That's so true.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Nobody got to think about me.
That's absolutely true.
But I think what we have. Go ahead. What?
When you work on you, that's what happens.
That's what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And nobody.
Because you
can-
have to be honest with yourself.
You do.
Yeah.
And nobody
Right.
can
And a
drag
lot of
you
people
back.
misunderstand that piece there. If you don't work on you, you will never get to know you.
Yeah.
But I
you
think.
will always hide behind the brick wall.
Yeah, and I think what has to happen is we have to start approaching our relationships with the same fervor that we approach our friendships.
Yeah.
I think that's true.
You know what I mean? Like,
But it's so easy to say.
it is. Because there's an emotional
I was
component.
ready to say that.
There's the
Yeah,
emotional
yeah,
component.
yeah,
It is.
Yeah, because
But-
once that intimacy,
Once you cross over to intimacy, it's different.
It shakes
But
up the
but
room.
but
Yes.
but the fundamentals are very similar. It's
Oh,
just
it's
like
very
like if
similar.
you and I got into an argument tomorrow,
I don't want to fight with you.
I don't want to
guys.
fight with you either, and I want to figure out ways to try to smooth it back
I'm
over.
going to smooth it out.
But you got to be willing to do that in your relationship
Because,
too.
Yeah.
well, no, I have. By the time it's to a point where we've done, the guy today, by the time I'm at the point where I'm ready to leave, I've worked out
You've
all
exhausted.
I've exhausted everything.
Yeah.
Because I don't, it's like say you're going to get a divorce.
Right.
I'm not that guy. My sister said one day, she said that. I said, oh, you're never to use that word unless
Yeah.
you're going to do it.
Right.
Never use that word again.
Right.
Because I love her husband just like as if he was my damn husband.
Right,
Because
right.
I really love her husband. He's
Right.
a good dude.
Oh, who, John?
John.
Oh my
And I
God.
said, never use that word again. Unless you're ready to do it.
And see, you didn't open
Well,
up something
I
completely
love
different.
John's a great.
Yeah.
But see,
He's a
you've
great
opened up
guy.
another
I
layer.
feel like,
Hold
sorry.
on, hold on. He wants to talk about John. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, I'm done.
I'm
not- shut
he
up.
wants to talk about
No,
John.
I'm talking.
Nobody got Corey any water yet.
Yeah, Corey
Shut
doesn't
up.
want-
We still haven't gotten Corey any water.
Take an intermission.
Take it right.
We're
Right.
taking a break right now.
Right.
Why you fucking touching?
We're going to go to commercial.
We're not going to commercial. Corey, you take a seat over the couch, please. Take a seat on the couch. But you know, but to your point, and that's another thing that I think that's missing for us in same gender loving relationships is that we're not often bound by marriage, and so we don't have to throw out the word divorce because it could just be we pack up our shit and we leave. And to me, that's a power move.
Yeah.
And my thing is, because what you're really saying is when you pack your shit up and you leave, you're leaving me to feel empty. You're leaving me to feel
Let's discuss this.
like a fool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Feel stupid. Feel rejected.
Yeah.
And that's a power move. And like I've said that in relationships before. I'm like, listen, let me tell you something. When you pack all your shit like that, what you've communicated to me is that you're done.
You're done.
And if that's not what you intend to communicate with me, don't do that shit with me.
that.
And even that whole silent treatment shit where I'm calling you or you texting me or I'm texting you and you don't reply. Now that was some shit I did when I was in my 20s. too.
Yeah.
That's the shit that I had to repair.
I had a 4.5-year relationship with a dude in Philly. He left the key. He came here for Labor Day weekend to hang out with me that weekend. He left the key on. So we had a little argument or whatever. He left the key on my counter, my door key on the counter, and locked the doorknob locked. When I came back home, he was gone, and he texted me and said, "Oh, I'm leaving. I left the key on the thing." That already said to me, when you left the key, you're done.
Yeah.
Good night.
So that was it?
That was it. We had a few
words after that, but that was it.
But that was it. But I think we instead of after we had a conversation, we got to the root of it.
Right. But you've already exerted this power.
Yeah,
move.
you already did this. That doesn't mean anything to me. I'll put my key in the drawer and moved on to because that's how I'm just that guy. I can be very. That's always been it's a
blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
Well, just because you put that key in the drawer doesn't mean you weren't dealing with those emotions.
No, I dealt with.
Right.
I called them. We talked about it.
Yeah.
And then we got to what was really the root.
Right.
cause. We needed to make a decision on if you were going to come here or if I was going to come there. That's what the main thing, because the relationship was really getting to a good spot.
Right.
4.5 years of the back and forth.
I don't understand. I can't really conceptualize that. Like, I understand he put the key in there, but for me, for 4.5 years, I wouldn't have been able to just walk away, even after we kind of...
My nonchalant ass.
Yeah, see, I don't know. But see, that's what I think. I think sometimes for us, I don't think that we fight enough. I think sometimes we're so quick to let go. We're so quick to give up.
Marvin fell out with me a couple years back.
Yeah, I remember. He was over you. I remember.
I'm like, really? Well, I'm not done.
No, that's not
I
even.
know.
The next day we was back in the car cutting the food.
Right.
I don't like to argue with my partner. But we're gonna have discussions. I have watched my tone because I really work on like Calvin said, you can be really nasty.
Me too.
I can be just the same. My mouth can be.
I've watched my
the
learned
worst.
to, yeah, me too.
I don't like that person.
He's a double-edged sword.
Oh, and I don't like that side of me. I like to really, especially with people that I care about. So I'm not gonna do it to my partner.
Yeah.
Baby,
So I really work on. So it's best to just go ahead. Let's just go ahead because I don't do that back and forth stuff because
he
it
don't
can
even
get
cut you to the white meat.
nasty.
He cut you to the bone.
Yeah.
It can get nasty.
It can be.
He cut you to the bone. He don't even cut you to the white meat. He cut you
But
to the bone.
at 52 years old, I've established friendships with people who have seen me at my worst.
Yeah.
And they've supported me. And I've...
Well, that's when you start. When you're
And
at
that's why
your
you
worst.
Yes.
That's the partner you need.
Yeah.
I'm
To
talking about
anchor
friends.
To anchor you.
Yes.
When you're at your worst, to still be in your corner.
Yeah.
Like a friendship.
Right.
Because when you got a friend that's moving off because you're at your worst, you leave them.
Yeah.
You gotta move
Transitory.
on.
Yeah.
It's
Like you
transitory.
guys. Y'all seen me at my worst.
Yeah.
You've seen me at my best.
Yeah.
You know, and you've always stood by me.
Yeah.
You know, because you knew if I was at
And
my
vice
worst, I was
versa.
going through some shit.
Vice versa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what we do for each other.
Right.
Because we've known each other for years.
We have.
Yes.
We have.
Yeah. And there are people who, you know, fall out about the simplest of things. You know what I mean?
Now, how much do you think... Oh, I lost my train of thought. Oh, I had it. It's going to come back, though.
But when you get to a certain age, you can judge the character of a person.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can say, you know, I know Craig's a good guy. You know, I know Marvin's a good guy.
Yeah.
And these are the people that I want to surround myself with.
Yeah.
Because they've always had my best
Right,
interests at
right.
heart. You know what I mean?
I told you it was going to come back. So how important is it for you to be in relationship with someone who's had long-term friendships? Because sometimes
Very important.
Because sometimes that can
Very,
foreshadow
very. Yeah.
whether or not they have the potential to have longevity in a
And the
relationship.
long-term friendship is great. but what is the capacity of the friendship?
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes people rely on their friends too much where
Yeah.
it gets into the relationship.
Let me meet your friends and I can tell you who you are.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Because sometimes your friendships though get, especially in the gay community,
muddled.
because the friends can be overbearing.
yes, they can.
Well, in the gay lifestyle, people so easily call other people friends.
Yeah.
And they've only known them 6 months.
Yeah.
That's not your friend.
Right.
Yeah.
And see, to your point, Marvin, about sometimes, the lines can get crossed because of the friendships. What I will say to that is, there are instances where, damn, I lost my train of thought. It's this fucking alcohol. It's this alcohol. Hold on. Wait, what did you just say a moment ago? You just said the lines can get crossed because you're friends.
Friendship.
Yeah.
It goes back to the point that I was making earlier about that feminine energy. Because when I was going through a situation with a guy that I was dating, I didn't share that with any of my gay friends. Because sometimes our approach is very much so, not toxic, but sometimes it's very much so, ooh, just let that go. Ooh, that's some bullshit. Don't worry about that. Sometimes we don't have that roll up your sleeve kind of, let's fight for it, make it work. So I didn't share it with any of my friends, my gay male friends. And I shared it with a friend. I visited that upon a friend of mine who's female. And she was the one who gave me the insight and that allowed me to stretch myself and to try things differently. And I was able to adjust things so that we were able to prolong things a bit more. You know what I'm saying? But like with my male gay friends, they were like, oh child, that's some game. Like let that go. Like we don't have that capacity all of the time. So you got to really be careful about who you share it with.
So true.
Yeah.
So true.
On another subject, when you mentioned femme, that has been my struggle. I'm not the most masculine guy. And I've struggled with that, with me being me, as far as I'm a dude, but I'm not the most masculine. I don't have the deepest voice, whatever. But I'm a boy. I'm a dude, and I've met guys who was bothered by that. Although they liked me, there was a little bit of an embarrassment dating me, whatever, and I struggled with that. Even when they weren't even feeling that, I felt that. I felt, maybe they looking at me like that or whatever. But then I meet these dudes who are DL, masculine, sagging, and they get together with their friends and they call each other girls. And
Right.
Yeah, I'm like, really?
Right.
That's how y'all talk?
Right.
Yeah. Bitch, nigga.
Right. Now, have you ever considered venturing outside of your race today? We're all black here, but have you ever considered the venture?
I love black men.
Have you ever? I didn't even get to finish the question.
No, I love black men.
The question was, have you ever thought about venturing outside of your race to kind of open up the pool?
I've thought about it.
I have.
It's been a thought.
It's been a thought. I never done it. I mean, when I went to Chicago one time.
Don't say never, but
I went to Chicago and I went to a bar and I had a great conversation with a gorgeous white man. I was like, wow. I was like, okay, I'd probably date him if he was in DC, but I ain't gonna do no longer. But I mean, it was cool. We had a great conversation, but I always thought about going outside my race.
I haven't.
That's all he wanted to say. That's all he got.
I'm power to the people.
Right.
I've had some thoughts about it. Jokingly.
Right. So you've never slept with a white guy?
No.
Yeah, I never have. I've never.
The closest is just a Latino or something. That's it.
Oh, yeah.
Latino.
Yeah.
I had my Dominican.
But nothing.
Yeah.
As much as they sometimes get on your nerves and you want to
black men,
you want to put them off. Those my dudes.
Right.
Those my dudes.
Right.
Because I understand their struggles.
Right.
I get it. Even though they don't want to work on it, but I get it.
Right.
I've had my Dominican, but shit, he black.
They black.
Yeah, he is.
They might not want to recognize him.
They
black.
Yes, he a Dominican.
So they get
but
over
he
here
New York, but I had to
label him as a minority.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Well, listen, this has been an amazing conversation. This is going to be the first of probably a two-part, because I wanted to have this same conversation with some of my black heterosexual females, because I believe that the underlying connection that we have with black women is our relationships with men. You know, we have similar heartbreaks, similar
Right.
disappointments, you know, all of those things. So
I was going to ask. I know you said, have you ever thought about doing it with even heterosexual males?
doing what?
The same podcast.
Oh yeah. I have.
I participate.
Yeah.
I participate.
You gonna participate in that heterosexual male podcast? But you know, and I am interested in having that conversation. But I was having that conversation with Angela the other day when I told her that I wanted to have her separately with some other people because I was gonna have some females here. But then I decided to keep them separate. But she said the same thing. Well, why not have some heterosexual males? But I don't really know if that's a thing that they fear, and it's not even necessarily a fear. I don't even know if it's something that they're concerned with because most, from my optics, I would think that a lot of heterosexual men kind of know that when they're ready to settle down, they can have a woman to settle down with. You know, and I just think that most times, most men, not always, but in a lot of instances, just to see. Yeah. But in a lot of instances, men don't usually start to think about really settling down until they're well into their 50s. Because you know, you start to think about the winter of your life, and you know who's going to take care of me, or what happens if my health starts to fail, or what if I'm home by myself. You got Marvin. But you know, so I mean, but maybe we will see. Maybe I will have that conversation.
Farting and shit.
Oh my God.
But anyway, I will say this. Because of who I am and my personality, in my business, I do meet a lot of straight men who approach me.
Oh, like what?
Sexually.
Really? So does that make them sex or bisexual? I mean, straight or bisexual?
I met married men that came in with their wives.
That don't mean they're straight.
It doesn't, and that's what I'm saying. And then they meet me, and if I decide, to pursue something with them, it's almost like they keep me a secret. And I can't be nobody's secret.
You that other girl.
Yeah.
You that other
I'm
girl.
that bitch, nigga.
You that other girl.
They try to keep me a secret. They enjoy my company. They're very nice, but I can't be anybody's secret. You know what I mean?
That's another podcast.
It is. Thank you for listening to this podcast. We're here every single Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
I'll be back next Monday.
He's a caller. You can't come out with the women.
Who you doing next Monday?
Can I wrap this up? Thank you for listening to this podcast. It's been it's so much to say. It's for free. It's available for free. Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, wherever you can listen to a podcast. And remember to visit www.craigthewriterstewart.com.
Who are you? Sorry.
Visit www.craigthewriterstewart.com for all of your merchandise needs.
What's that?
We have books over there. I have 3 books.
You still peddling them books.
You still have to get the second.
Can I get a mug?
Anyway, thank you for listening. Be safe. Keep loving yourself.
Good.
That was really good.
Informative.
I think it really was informative. I think some people will hear it and just be like, "Oh my God, that was." I think this will be one of those podcasts that people will share, on their social media or text. Like I have listeners that will message me and say, "Oh my God, this podcast that you did on such and such."
That sexy Calvin? His voice is just hot.
You think that's what they're gonna say?
I'm taking.
They're gonna say, "Who was that strong black woman?"
That was Corey.
They kept saying his ex-boyfriend's name.
Corey. They don't know what they're gonna say. Now, who's that nigga like to suck dick?
That's what they're gonna say about Corey. Who was that nigga that like to suck dick?
Can you get me in contact with him?
Get me in contact with him. Oh my God, you so stupid.
Corey, you did talk about sucking dick a lot.
He sure did. For a bitch that's not on.
Nigga here.
Look, go ahead and unzip your pants, Calvin. Let him suck on it. Look, for a bitch that ain't on none of the social media apps.
Yeah, you sucking a lot of dick.
Well, I'm not.
Well, you don't need to be. You seem to be sucking a lot of dick.
I ain't sucking a lot of
without being on the app. I mean, if we're being honest,
Oh my God.
Be honest, but
what time is it?